That would be the greatest sort of barrister speak ever, wouldn't it, to try and get somebody off. I didn't mean it. Does that mean it's okay? Of course he never meant to headbutt him, but he did. He absolutely did. And there's no reasoning for me to understand why people would say, it's almost like, oh, the game's gone soft, isn't it? You know, we're just giving penalties for that. It was a simple, and fair play to Anthony Taylor. He gave himself a couple of seconds and he went, that's a definite penalty kick.
What's interesting, maybe more worrying for Arsenal, despite all the conspiracy theories that everyone's against them, is their performance after they conceded. There didn't seem to be much of life. There wasn't like a plan B. You couldn't really see where their goal was going to be from. In fact, it was Brighton who looked more likely to get the win.
And you want big decisions. Arsenal, like a lot of teams, have got a lot of games coming up. Aye, welcome to the real world. And he rested Martin Odegaard. These are decisions that, you know, he had to go to the well and bring him on, and it wasn't enough. But these are decisions as a manager that make or break you. Correct me if I'm wrong. But maybe if he was in Liverpool's position, maybe then giving some key players a rest might be something you could sell. But at Brighton, more than decent side, away from home, you know, so those decisions went against him. And the one thing with Arsenal for me that I'm sort of pig sick of is, and it's not just some of the muppets that follow them, the supporters online, that just forever and a day, before the game and after the game, they're complaining about officials. But it's coming out of the club as well. And I think it all sort of snowballs from the club, from the players, from the manager, about this went against us, that went against. Just play better.
Yeah.
If you want to win the league, don't keep harping on about PGMOL and referees. Just play better. And you know, bringing up this incident and that incident, and this went against us, and this went for Liverpool. Everybody's sick of it. Everybody's sick of it. Just you're going to have to do it on the field. Nobody's against you. Referees make mistakes. Nobody's got it in for you. So this paranoia that's around this team, this manager, and this club is, I don't know about anybody else, really starting to irk me.
It'd be interesting to know what the feeling around Arsenal is in terms of him complaining all the time. You know, because maybe he's complaining in the press and coming out with this, but behind closed doors, he's saying, look, we need to get better.
Right.
But I just get the feeling that's not what's happening. I get the feeling that it's woe is me all the time. And again, if Arteta should be more bothered about what happened from the minute Brighton equalised to the end of the game. There was only one team pushing forward. It was as if Brighton were the team that were going for the title. And Arsenal were just sort of trying to bat them off instead of pushing forward and trying to exert their dominance on the game. That's what Arteta should be standing on the side of the field doing. I said that about Maresca a couple of weeks ago. He should be doing the same. Arteta should be doing that. Not sitting complaining to the fourth official. Get on your players back. Get them going forward and try and win the game. Because guess what? You're behind and you need to win. You need to win matches.
That's the concern, isn't it? If you're an Arsenal fan, that is the real problem that you would have. Is just that kind of lack of push in that second half.
Yeah. That was very clear that when they conceded the goal, they were out of ideas and they couldn't find anything. And Arteta was just complaining about something. So it's not like you want to fight for the title because you have ideas and you know what to do. And that's what we saw today with Liverpool and even Manchester United. You concede a goal, you react. That's where you are considered as a big team. And Arsenal didn't show that against Brighton. And it's very surprising because he has the players for that. He has the quality, they have the character, the stamina to go for it and to react and say, okay, we conceded a goal, it's away from home, it's a mistake from us, let's react and just let's show them who we are. And we didn't see that. But Arteta is creating an environment right now where people are going to start, in a neutral point of view, they're going to start not liking the Gunners. Because of the complaints, because of the conspiracy theory. And we don't like that. People who are playing the victims all the time. And it's not the Gunners that I knew as well. You know, I played against Vieira, Petit, and so many others who were so strong in the middle of the park. Paulo, Adams, Keon. I mean, come on, guys, they were there. They didn't complain about anything. They were fighting. That's the Gunners Arsenal that I know. And after we had the Invincibles with the others. That was crazy. That's not what I see. But it's only because of the coach and the fact the guy is complaining all the time. And you say, oh, come on, fed up, shut up, play your football. If you're that good, show us. But we don't see that. And it's what they didn't show against Brighton after the coach did the goal.
That statement there, we're very disappointed with the penalty. Somebody has to take him in his office and show him what a head clash is.
Oh, really?
Do you know what I'm saying? Here's a couple of here's a bunch of head clashes from the weekend where both players were going for the ball and it was unfortunate. And here's a guy butting somebody. I tell you one thing now. Had that been, one of the Brighton centre-halves, Van Hecke or whoever, on an Arsenal player, right, in similar fashion at the other end, I'll guarantee you now, this support, these players and this manager would be shouting for a penalty all day, but yet he's never seen this before. I mean, we've all seen head clashes. But I must admit, it is very rare you see this, but that doesn't mean it's not clear, and it's crystal clear.
It's what we have to see, because they have to learn from there. It's what experience is so useful in everything in the world. You need that to step back and to restart and to reboot yourself, and that's what they are incapable of doing right now. They don't go back to simple things. They want to react, and in fact, in the world, you have to act. And it's what they were doing at first. Now they lost one game. Now they lost the second game. They drew the third one. So it's up to Maresca to find the key for them to switch on back and see how they can do. But that's what it is. But it's, well, you know what? There is only one team I'm not disappointed about. Is Nottingham Forest. We're going to see tomorrow. Hopefully they're going to do that and get the result. But the only team that they can lose one game and they react. So that's good. But you have a little bit more experienced player than Chelsea.
Word on Chelsea, Craig? You want to say anything?
No, I mean, I think realistically, you're looking at Arsenal and Liverpool being the two teams that are capable of fighting for a title. Forest, great story. And I think Chelsea, realistically, Champions League, top four, would be an excellent season. They were in the race because they were in it. But at the moment, they're falling off, and I don't think that's a great surprise. If you watch closely, Joe Linton's arm, once it hits his arm, he does then try to drag it behind his back. So it was out slightly. I'm not saying there's any intent. And look, had that been in the box, I wouldn't have wanted a penalty been given if that had hit a player in the arm like that, because that's a big call. But this is a big call as well, and it has a material effect because once it hits his arm, it drops there. It stops Tottenham on the attack. It drops in the lap of, I can't remember who it was, Isak or whoever, he plays it to Gordon. So it's a huge effect. And for that reason, I don't see how you can allow an arm, whether it be, if his arm had been across his chest and therefore the ball was going to hit the chest anyway, then it's got no effect whatsoever, right? Because it would have hit his chest. But his arm was down here, and I was pretty shocked, actually, that they didn't chop that off.
Frank?
Well, there is too much consequences of that handball because it's an handball. Whether he did it on purpose or not, and it's away or close to his body, it's away from his body. He doesn't touch his body with his hand, so it's away from his body. But the consequence of that is a goal. It would have been his arm wouldn't have been there. It would have been a counter-attack. We wouldn't talk about that today. So it's too much of a consequence to not say it's an handball for me. And it's an handball. It would have been in a 16-yard box against Newcastle. It would have been a penalty against Newcastle. Everybody would have said, yeah, it's away from the body. Yeah, the ball would have gone into the net if his hand or his arm wasn't there. So there is not even a question for me. It was clear when I saw that I played football. Craig and Steve, we played football, and we know that suddenly Joe Linton goes a little bit like that, as Craig mentioned. It's an handball. We all know that. And you have to, I read an article of, is that Mike Dean, the former referee, say, yeah, it's normal, no, it's no handball. How can you say that? Yeah, if you don't know football, if you're a referee, you don't know football.
Another defeat, though, for Spurs.
Yeah, and it just piles on the pressure more than anything else. I think the one solace, if there anything, and these injuries we talked about and how some of it might be down to him himself and his training, they actually played. If you want a side that has given up for the manager. This wasn't it. They actually played some decent stuff. They shot themselves in the foot, and the referee, the officials, they didn't get that decision. But they played some good stuff. They fought hard, and the young Bergvall in midfield was excellent for long periods. Solanke got himself a great goal early on from the header. So there's pieces of this jigsaw there. Unfortunately for him, he needs to get some results. Now he's got the backlash of Liverpool coming up over two games, and I don't think he's got any of these big hitters coming back. So it wasn't a bad performance. It was a pretty good performance, but ultimately it was another defeat.